Hey lovelies, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Treasure Peter. If you're meeting me for the first time, thank you so much for stopping by. If you're a returning subscriber, thank you so much for coming back. So as you can see on the screen already, today I'm going to be making this beautiful Gong sleeves top. The neck has a V-neck and a triangular form just in front at the yoke part. Can wear it with the skirt, with the trouser, however you like it. And I'll be using this Ankara fabric that is so beautiful. This Ankara fabric actually has different patterns. That's why I love it so much. Stay tuned and keep watching if it's something you're interested in. Thank you. Welcome back once again, guys. So in making this top, I'll be using my 2 yards of Ankara fabric, and I'll be drafting it first on my pattern paper before transferring it to cut on my main fabric. So in order to start, I went ahead to draw my starting line where I want my starting point to start from, and then from there I went ahead to take my shoulder to my bust point, my shoulder to my under bust point, my shoulder to my waistline, and then my shoulder to the full length of my blouse. And then I went ahead to draw out the lines across like so. So after that, I went ahead to take my shoulder measurements divided by 2 and I marked it like so. I also marked it on my starting line, which is also my shoulder line. Then I went ahead to draw the line across like so. Then after that, I went ahead to take my neck measurement. I took a neck width of 3 and a neck depth of 3. This is not actually our normal neck, so I'm just taking it for now. I'll still take our normal v-neck. Then I came down by 1 inch for my shoulder slant and connected it to my neckline. After that, I took my armhole depth. I used the normal formula, bust circumference divided by 6 plus 1.5, and then I marked where it stopped and extended my shoulder line to meet that point. So I went ahead to extend my armhole line. I marked my bust circumference divided by 4. Then from my shoulder slope, I took the half of it and then I came in by half an inch and I connected my armhole like so. So initially I forgot to mark my waistline, so I went ahead to just mark my waistline, my shoulder to my waistline like so. So I went ahead to label my lines, my bust point, my under bust, my waistline, my full length, and my chest line. So it's now time for us to take our bustier part. So I went ahead to take my nipple to nipple on my bust span measurement. Mine was 7 inches. I divided by 2 and added ½ inch, and it's 4 inches. So I marked 4 inches on my bust line, my under bust line, my waistline, and also on the full length, and I drew a straight line across like so. After that, on my waistline, I marked 1½ inch at the side part. I also marked the same 1½ inch on my under bust line, but on the full length, I marked 1¼ inch. So the reason for marking that 1¼ inch is because I want it to fit properly because it's around my hip area. And then I connected the lines together with my ruler. But at the inner part, I used ½ inch across from the full length to the waistline and to my under bust. So I've done a comprehensive video already on how to draft the princess darts bustier pattern, and I also showed you the dart inches to take for each bust measurement. So do well to check on my description box below for the link to that video. At this point, we are going to determine where we want our yoke pattern to start from, because this blouse has a yoke pattern at the front side. So I decided to come up at my chest line. So you can decide to come down a bit by 1 inch, or you go up depending on what you want. So I drew the line across like so, and I also extended the line to meet that new line. After that, I went ahead to take out my dart at that up part. So note that whatever you take at your waistline at the side part, you're going to shade it into two, and then you're going to take the outer part to be bigger than the inner part. Because of that, I took 1 inch at the outer part and ½ inch at the inner part. Then at my bust point, I came up and down by ½ inch, and then I used my French curve to draw out my bust area like so. You can also use your free hand in case you do not have a French curve. So guys, always make sure to curve especially your side part of your bust area very well and make it look very full at that part. So I also connected the curve to meet the up part like so, and I went ahead to use my hand to blend the center part. So guys, at this point we are going to take our v-neck. So I just connected it in a V form from my normal neck width that I use, and I connected it to meet the chest line. So the depth of the neck depends on how you want your v-neck to be. For me, I want it to stop at my chest line area. So now we are going to take our round circumference measurement. I went ahead to take my bust circumference divided by 4. I had already marked it before, so I replaced the allowance at the darts that I took out of 1½ inch, and I also added extra 1 inch for joining allowance. And then at my under bust point, I also took my round under bust divided by 4, and I replaced my dart intake of 2 inches and also added 1 inch allowance for joining. Then at my full length part, I took my hip circumference divided by 4. I measured and replaced my dart, and I also added 1 inch allowance for joining, and I connected the lines together like so. On my waistline, I forgot to take my waist measurement, so I went ahead to just mark my waist measurement, and I connected the lines like so. So note, on this pattern I've not added the side seam allowance yet. I am going to add it when cutting on fabric. So because of how curvy the down part looks, at the down part at the side I came up by 2½ inches, and then I connected it to this point like so. So guys, at this point I went ahead to mark out the part I'm going to cut out, and I'll just cut it out. So guys, if you've watched up to this point, please don't forget to hit the subscribe button if you've not yet subscribed, and also turn on the notification bell so that whenever I drop a video you'll be notified. So guys, we are done cutting, and then we are going to work on this yoke pattern. In order to get the triangle shape in front, I measured and divided my shoulder into 2, and then I marked the same from the down part, taking the length of 3 inches. After that, I went ahead to take to the right 1½ inch and to the left 1½ inch. So you can make your own to be higher than 3 inches for the length, or to be lower than 3 inches. So after that, this is what we have. I went ahead to draw my triangle, and I discovered that my triangle was too tight, so I had to extend it because I wanted it to look more wider than it was. So this is just it in drawing the triangle. So I went ahead to just cut it off. So whenever I'll be removing my yoke pattern, I'm going to fold my material into 2, and also for the center part. So I'll go ahead to just draft the back pattern. In order to draft the back pattern, I went ahead to just extend my lines. And necessary for the back, I extended my chest line and also the full length and my waistline. So after that, I went ahead to draw out my zipper allowance. I marked it across like so, and then after that I marked my shoulder measurement divided by 4. I marked it across like so, and I also marked it on my chest line, used my ruler to draw it out, and then I took my shoulder slant by 1 inch, and then took my neck depth by 1½ and my neck width by 3 inches, and I connected my neckline and also connected my shoulder slants like so. I went ahead to take my bust measurement divided by 4, and I marked what I had, and then draw out my armhole like so. So that I went ahead to take my darts. I marked my nipple to nipple points divided by 2, added half an inch allowance, and then from my chest line I came down by 1 inch. I connected it back down to my full length, and then at my waistline I came in by ½ inch on both sides, and then I connected it back to 1 inch after my chest line and also back to my full length in this form. On my waistline, I measured my waist circumference divided by 4. I marked it, and then I replaced my dart intake of 1 inch, and I also added my allowances at once for the back. I added my allowance at my bust point, and I also took my hip measurement divided by 4 and added my allowance. So I connected the lines together like so. Also at the downside of my back, I came up by 2.5 inches just like I did to the front and connected it to my dart part. I went ahead to mark my 1.5 inch zipper allowance across like so, and also extended the neckline at my zipper allowance side. I drew out my waistline across to meet my zipper allowance side, and I came in by ½ inch. I also drew out the full length and also my 1 inch after my chest line, and then I connected that 1 inch after my chest line to meet my waistline that I came in by ½ inch and connected it back to my full length, and then I marked it out. This is to avoid bulginess around the zipper area. So I went ahead to label zip allowance, and I went out to just cut out my back pattern. As you can see, our pattern paper is looking so beautiful and it's ready. So I'm just trying to place it to show you guys how it's going to look like. So for the center part of the front, I'm going to be cutting it on fold. So I've gone ahead to cut out my pattern paper on my fabric. I added ½ inch allowance to the top part and also 1.5 inch allowance to the sides. So for the center, I placed it on fold to cut it. I added ½ inch allowance at the upper part also. This is for joining. For my yoke pattern, I also placed it into 2 to cut it. I added ½ inch allowance at the shoulder and at the down part. But note, at the center part of my neck, I did not cut it out. I just stopped it, leaving ½ inch allowance. So let me open it to show you guys what I mean. This is what I mean, guys. So try not to cut out your neckline to meet that allowance part. Just leave it like that. I went ahead to just place our front material to show you guys how it's looking, and this is our back. So I just went ahead to cut my linings on each of the fabric, and then I went ahead to use this interfacing, soft interfacing, to interface on all the parts of my fabric like so. I interfaced on the back side and also the front part. So for the front part, I added my warden to my bust area. I had already cut out my warden, so I just placed it, leaving ½ inch at the top for my joining, for joining of the yoke, and stopping at my under bust point. I will go ahead to pin it up first, then take it to my ironing board to press it well. So I actually use the soft warden for this. After pressing it, this is what I have. I'll just go ahead to join it from the down part to the up part, just like our princess dart bustier. So for the yoke part, I'll just go ahead to place my lining to the right sides of the material. To turn the neck part, you can go ahead to pin it together. You turn the neck and then you turn the triangle parts. So for me, I like using my aiming gum whenever I want to turn my neck part so that it will be so firm. I recommend that you use it too. So I'm going to use my aiming gum not just for the neck but also for that triangle part, so that when I iron it well, my lining is going to hide. So this is what I have after I was done turning my yoke. So I'll just go ahead to remove it out. I'll use my scissors first to notch the center of the V part, and then I'll turn it off. So this is how to just turn it. I went ahead to notch it already, so I'm trying to turn it to show you guys how to turn it out. I had to turn it one part after the other part because you cannot drag both sides through one side. You have to drag one side through the other side and this other side through this other side. And just note that that down part that is open will actually help you to remove it easily. So this is what we had after I was done turning it. So I'll just go ahead to my iron and press it very well. So for the back, I went ahead to just turn the neckline of my back. After turning the neckline, I'll go ahead to turn the down part. After turning the down part, I'll turn both the zipper area as well as the sides. I'll do the same thing for the other side, and then I'll show you guys what I have. So this is what I had after turning it. I went ahead to just bring it out to the right side, and then I'll just go ahead to iron it. After ironing it, I'll also go ahead to take in my darts. So this is what we have after we were done joining our bustier and using our breast ball to iron it out very neatly. See how fine it's looking already. So the next thing I'll do is to create our boning channels. In order to create our boning channels, just cut straps of material like this and then run 3 straight lines. You're going to keep spacing that you'll be able to insert your boning. Run the lines first at the center and also at your bustier area. So this is what I mean. This is how the lines look. Make sure it's a very straight line, and then from there you're going to join the yoke together before you insert your boning. So in order to join your yoke pattern to your blouse, make sure that you notch the center part of your blouse and also make it align with the center part of the yoke. You can notch it as well, and then you can go ahead to just place it and pin it down. Then make sure you start from the center part to just join it down. Then you arrange it very well and also join the other parts. This was what I had after joining it together, and then I went ahead to just flip it over. The next thing, you are going to insert your boning. So this is just how to insert your boning. You're going to measure it first and know where it will stop, and then you're going to leave at least 1 inch allowance down for your turning, and then you're going to just cut it and insert the boning on all the spaces like so. So for me, I didn't want to actually add my boning because I wasn't comfortable with it, but note that the style that I'm recreating, they added their bonings to it. So after adding the boning, I went ahead to remove it. So the next thing I went ahead to do was to just use my lining. I went ahead to also join my lining. Then I'm going to use it to turn at the up part so that it will hide the joining, and then I'll also turn the down part and as well as the sides, and then I will bring it out through my armhole. So after I was done placing my dart for my back, I went ahead to just fix my zipper, and then I'll go ahead to just join my shoulder of the back to the shoulder of the front together, and then I'll go ahead to close the sides. So after I was done joining the shoulders, this was what I had. I was done fixing my zipper. So the next thing I went ahead to do was to just close the sides. I used my measurements and for my bust and my waist also, and I closed the sides like so. So we are almost done, guys. We are just going to go ahead to fix our sleeves. So for the sleeves, I had already done the sleeves before off camera, so I am going to do it again with another material to show you guys what I actually did. So for the sleeves, I used my pattern paper. I took the length of my sleeves. Just take your desired length. For me, I took 12 inches. I went ahead to mark it across. The wideness, I took 11 inches, which is 22 divided by 2, and I went ahead to mark it across like so. After that, I came down by 4.5 inches for my bicep length, and then I connected it in this manner like so. So just connect it. You can just come in by like 4 inches and then connect it to meet your 4.5 in this manner like so. So that's just it for the sleeves. I wanted to confirm it was actually 4.5, so I actually made it 4.5. So that's just all for the sleeves. I just went ahead to cut it out. So I went ahead to just place it and cut it out on my material and my lining piece, just to show you guys how I achieved this. So see how round our sleeve is looking because of the boning we added. So for us to achieve that, we'll go ahead to just place our gum stage. Just use the add gum stage and place on the fabric, and then you use your lining to turn it. Before turning it, you use your sewable boning and place it on your lining. Just sew it one time. Just keep a space of ½ inch at the edge, and then keep a space by your side, and then you use it like that to turn your sleeves. I didn't want to use the boning to turn this particular sleeve, so I just went ahead to turn it like that without the boning. While turning it, I used my hemming gum to turn it, and then I went ahead to just turn it in like this. So just turn it in. After that, this was what we had. I went ahead to just flip it out, and then I'm going to show you the difference between this one and the one I used boning for. So as you can see, this is the one I use boning for. See how it is standing very well. It is very rounded. But as for this other one, this one is slipping, like it's not standing, it's not rounded. So that is why it is necessary for you to use boning when you are making these other sleeves. So guys, our top is ready. It's just for us to attach our sleeves. So in order to attach these sleeves, make sure that you are going to gather it at the joining part, at the shoulder part. Gather it very well, and then join the rest around your armhole. So thank you very much guys. If you've watched up to this point, I really appreciate. If you've not subscribed, do well to hit the subscribe button and also turn on the notification bell so that whenever I drop a video, you'll be notified. Please don't forget to like and also drop a comment if this video was valuable to you. Thank you so much guys. See you in my next video. Bye.